Blended learning is really a platform for students to practice more ownership over their learning. I've seen some students really taking it upon themselves to make full use of these blended learning opportunities now that we are involving them in their learning even at home, and then when they come to school and they become prepared for the lesson. I feel like this is really a good experience even for the teachers when we are always looking to engage them in their learning.
So I think in the initial stages of blended learning, we actually look at just the MOE resources. We look at just the content coverage for the different topics, and then we supplement with our own lesson packages curated. But as time progresses, we actually look at giving the students more autonomy in terms of their studies. So before the lesson, actually students do some research. They actually look at certain resources beforehand, and then they create the questions on their own for us to actually have a more meaningful discussion in class. We also see that students are taking more autonomy in terms of their own learning.
So Shanti, what did you do for your SIL and how was your overall experience?
I did cooking for my SIL and I found it thoroughly engaging and interesting as I got to apply the skills I learned from FCE class and cook. I cooked for my family fried rice and they enjoyed eating them. They gave me some tips and feedbacks for me to improve so that I could cook better next time round. What about you, Eliza?
So for my SIL, I did this thing called Seni. So for silat pengantin, it's only performed during Malay weddings in front of the bride and the groom. Overall, I faced many challenges, but the experience was still very fun. So SIL has impacted me in many ways. One of it is to have confidence in asking people for help, like my coaches and my seniors. They have been very helpful and I'm grateful for that. How about you, Shanti?
For my SIL, I have learned that I should be inquisitive and I can apply that in many ways. For example, cooking, I could ask tips from Miss Go or my parents so that I can improve and produce a better dish. Just like in math, I could ask questions from my teacher or practice the questions many times to get that A1.
My class took a while to get used to the idea because they were not used to having so much freedom, I think. But we have had quite a few projects that have borne quite interesting fruit. For example, one of my students taught herself with obviously adult supervision swimming. And she documented her whole process from not being able to swim at all to being able to cover one full lap in the pool. So I think this opportunity that they were given was quite an enriching thing for most of the students, and it helped them realize that with effort and with perseverance, they can actually achieve things even if there's no teacher to push them to do it or there's no obligation that they have to finish it.
And in this process, I also see from their reflection that they have learned how to take patience, perseverance, and attention to details. These skills, which actually are often overlooked but very important in the journey of their personal growth.
So, Josh, can you tell me one word that you use to describe your SIL?
It would be discovery. When I'm doing my SIL, it not only allows me to learn more about the SIL topic that I've chosen, it also helps me to discover my strengths and weaknesses that I have as a student, as a person. And this allows me to continue to perform well for my strength and able to change all the weaknesses that I have so that I can perform better in terms of academics or be a better person in life.
So one memorable experience I had was going to Science Centre to attend this course called the Amgen Biotech Beginners course. So the goal of this course is to enlighten the bio students about all the industry standards in bio. I got to learn about bacterial transformation and genetics in general. So this has opened my eyes to the worlds of bio. Because usually in classrooms, I will be learning but in a more textbook style. Throughout this course, I got to hands-on do the things that are taught.
So initially, I wasn't so keen on different approaches to education, Even when I first heard about SIL, I did not want to do it at all. It sounded completely boring and unnecessary. But over the weeks, as I started doing my SIL, I realized that it can actually be quite beneficial because I not only learn about my SIL content, I also learn more about myself as I try and think of ways to overcome the various difficulties that I face. I think this is my third SIL. I am more keen to different forms of learning, and I've really found out more about myself also.
What I've also seen is that because of student-initiated learning, when they share their projects with one another, I think that's quite powerful as well because they get to learn more about each other. They see a dimension of each other that they probably have not seen in class. For me, I saw that actually helped to bond the class a little bit more and they actually get inspired by each other. So I think that's very powerful when you give them the opportunity to actually share more of their own interests and who they are in the classroom.
So I would like to share about Javon, who's one of my students. Even before SIL, he has been learning how to be a magician. During the SIL period, he decided to pursue this interest and learn even more complicated magic tricks. He had the chance to actually perform a magic show to the residents of All Saints Home during the class service learning. With his enthusiasm and confidence, he was also selected as a class representative during the level sharing. Eventually, he was also chosen as one of the favorites by the level. So definitely through this SIL platform, I could see that he gained more confidence through his interest.
In the longer run, what we actually hope the students to do is that even with the work that we assign them before the lesson or after the lesson, that is beyond the school physical compound, we want them to take it upon themselves to be curious, to be proactive in their learning, to take the initiative, to find out more, to explore even sometimes beyond the scope of whatever we are teaching in the classroom. I might not have included in my slides, and the textbook might not have even talked about it, but these are really very rich learning points that can exist in the classroom because of all these things that the students are doing at home.